safe space initiatives
Yes.
led by lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender non-conforming people.
Well, look, I don't know exactly. You guys are pulling some interesting quotes.
This is from your report.
Look at the.
I always forget that these people exist and that they were appointed to the highest levels of the Biden administration. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Breaking Brad, my video series where I react to breaking news and viral moments in short form. We've got a doozy up on deck for this video because Senator Josh Hawley, the Republican from Missouri, just got into quite the spat during a Senate hearing with a former Biden official, Gregory Jackson Jr., who was the deputy director of the Office of Gun Violence Prevention under Biden, and challenged him on his new organization that he's working, an activist group, and on some of the bizarre identitarian defund the police style nonsense that this organization stands for. And the dude just totally collapsed under basic scrutiny. It's really something. Buckle up, make sure to subscribe, like, yada, yada, yada. And let's watch this remarkable clip.
Let me ask you about something else you say. Here's what you say we ought to invest in. Instead of funding the police, here's what we ought to invest in. We need to invest in programs that acknowledge the need for safe space initiatives
Yes.
led by lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender non-conforming people.
Oh my gosh. Unironic use of safe space initiatives in 2025 is diabolical. What do you mean? Oh, we don't need to fund the police. We'll just have safe space initiatives led by genderqueer people. What kind of utopian world do these people think we live in? No. Minority communities actually bearing the brunt of crime in America do not want genderqueer activists rolling up after the next drive-by. They want more policing of actual crimes. Oh my gosh, these activist orgs, you forget how crazy and how detached from reality they are. And then every once in a while they intersect with the real world and you get to see them. Oh, and you just realize it. Wow.
People. What's two-spirit?
Well, look, I don't know exactly. You guys are pulling some interesting quotes.
This is from your report.
If you look at the report, the focus is on investing in violence intervention, outreach workers.
Why does you say that you shouldn't invest in the police, but we ought to invest in two-spirit community programs that acknowledge two-spirit
Look,
individuals?
we are not going to discriminate
What
against
is that?
We're not going to discriminate against any nonprofit that
What
wants
is
to
a
help us
two-spirit?
prevent violence in
What
our
is
community.
two-spirit? You say don't fund the police, but do fund programs that create safe spaces for two-spirit people. What is? I just want to know. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is.
Well, I honestly, I'm not completely aware of the language or
You
the
wrote
spirit
the
of how that was
report?
written.
Oh my gosh, this guy is so cooked. I am not the biggest Josh Hawley fan. I disagree with him on a lot of his ideology, but he absolutely has this man dead to rights. What do you mean? You guys are pulling crazy quotes, and it's from your organization's documents, like the playbook. He's not. Sometimes they do this in hearings in Congress where they'll have a witness and they'll pull up like an op-ed they wrote 15 years ago, or like a college newspaper writing, or a tweet from a decade ago, and that's some radical view. This is literally from the documents of his organization that he represents now in his full-time capacity. And he's acting like he's being ambushed by some wild, out-of-context quote. And I don't necessarily think that you need to be an expert in two-spirit non-binary identities, whatever. For context, guys, that's two-spirit is like something with its roots in indigenous cultures, I guess. And they claim that somebody who has both a masculine and feminine spirit. It's not a biological concept. Obviously, there are only two sexes, male and female. But I don't necessarily expect you to be able to explain or defend that. But, and here's the but, if you're going to put that at the forefront of your group's work and suggest that we should be turning over public safety to two-spirit people, maybe you should know what that is. Like, am I crazy for thinking that maybe you should know what that is? Or that people like this probably shouldn't be running important offices in the federal government. He's not anymore, but he was under Biden. It's like, I don't think people don't realize this. How much of Democratic Party low-level operations were turned over to deranged, out-of-touch activists over the last decade? Because the normal Democratic officials often don't say the crazy stuff as much. But then the people on the ground, the running the nonprofits or whatever, drank the Kool-Aid and are so far down the pipeline, you would not believe. Let me know what you think of how this exchange is going so far in the comments below. Yada, yada, yada. Let's keep going.
But what I'm telling you is that what is
a two-spirit individual? I mean, really, this is your policymaker's playbook. You are the witness called by the Democrats on this committee, so I assume you reflect their views. Well, you don't want to fund the police. You want to fund safe spaces for two-spirit individuals. What is a two-spirit person?
I feel like I'm looking at a two-faced individual because you talk about reducing...
Oh, no.
Really? You're just going to insult the senator because he's asking you straightforward questions? Sure, he's trying to have a moment. He's trying to pull a gotcha a little bit. I don't deny that. However, he's not insulting you personally. He's demanding that you that you are held accountable, that you explain what you believe in and what you've advocated for with your organization. And you're going to call him two-faced? I don't know. Seems like you really can't answer these basic questions, buddy. Like, I don't know. Not cool.
Oh, no, sir. You're looking at somebody who's reading you your own words, and I'd like to hear an answer. Here's the answer. The answer is you don't have any solutions. You want to invest in gobbledygook and take away money from police officers who actually keep our communities safe, and when you're called on the record, you deny it. It's all there in black and white, and your record is there in black and white, and it's a disgrace.
We reduced homicides by 31%, and as someone who's been shot and nearly killed, I take offense that you would think that
the last 13 years
you won't answer my
we're not focused on that you deny your own words and that you are leading this committee astray. And frankly, sir, your policies are absurd. They're absurd.
I don't think.
So, I don't know. I'm sorry you've been shot, bro, but like, that doesn't make you correct. What's the relevance of that? I'm offended, okay, but are you right? Like that, whether you're offended doesn't matter, babe. Like, I don't know how to explain that to you. And the other thing as well is, how are you going to say, well, I've been shot, so I take this very seriously, but also your plan to increase public safety is to expand safe space initiatives led by lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender nonconforming people. Guys, that is a direct quote from the playbook of the Community Justice Action Fund, which is the group this dude is involved with that does support defunding police departments partially. How are you going to act like it's outrageous to call you out when that's your position? I don't understand. And, well, I've been shot. I'm offended. I don't care. I care that you were shot. Of course, I don't want anyone to be shot, but I'm saying, like, that doesn't make you right. And you can't just use that as an excuse to not have to explain your absolutely delulu and deranged policies. You absolutely cannot. At least not, and expect us to buy it. We're not dumb. I'm sorry. And you're not going to gaslight us. I think Josh Hawley kind of cooked here. I'm not going to lie. He kind of ate down with this one. I like when people just actually on topic, because sometimes you see these congressmen and these senators in a hearing about one thing pull up unrelated gotchas. This will be like Nancy Mace, the Republican congresswoman, did this recently. There was a hearing about crime in DC, and she starts going at the mayor, what is a woman? And it's like, I appreciate grilling and holding people accountable on the actual subject. And this was a hearing on crime crackdowns, on the crackdown on crime in big cities. And you have this guy testifying who was involved in the Biden administration's crime prevention, now works at this, community justice initiative. This is a totally legitimate line of questioning. He imploded in spectacular fashion and reminded us why we cannot trust these like progressive NGO activist types with our safety and with anything related to criminal justice. Not to say the system is good or perfect. I think it is deeply flawed, but these people are absolutely delusional when it comes to this stuff. And the Democrats that kowtowed to them or kind of handed over their policies to them, even though they've walked that back, even though a lot of the defund the police stuff never actually happened, it is still a disqualifying mistake of the highest order. At least it is to me. But what do you guys think? Can you believe this is real life? And this is our discourse, and this is our politics, and we genuinely have to talk about safe space initiatives led by two spirit people in the halls of Congress. When do we become Canada? Like, I used to laugh at Canadian news and be like, ha ha ha, they're so delusional. They look at what they're talking about. Now that's just us now. We might be slightly cooked, but at least some people are holding this stuff to account and pushing back on it. And for that, I will appreciate them and give them credit, even if I don't always agree with them, like Josh Hawley. So shout out to him for this one. Massive L for our Biden bro here. At least that's my take on the situation. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed, notifications, all that nonsense. And if you guys are interested in my long form content, be sure to check out the Bread versus Everyone podcast, where I cover internet and social media madness from an independent perspective. That's on all podcast platforms and linked in the description. And with that, guys, we'll be back with more content real soon.